Where largemouth bass are concerned, one never knows exactly what to expect once they finish spawning and are primarily interested in moving to spots that offer prime feeding opportunities. Some fish hold along weed edges or prowl weedy flats hunting for suspended panfish. Meanwhile, in some reservoirs, bass follow shad into deeper water at the mouth of major creek arms. Some fish may stay shallow, foraging on crayfish, and in heavy cover, bass also hunt the surface at times. That's the situation this day.
Good one. Oh.
And it makes for some exciting fishing indeed.
How about that? That is a big springtime bass. Look at how he ate that frog. Listen, a lot of people talk about how frog fishing is best late in the summer. I'm gonna tell you, post-spawn is a tremendous time to catch big Midwestern bass. Is that a good one or what? Man, that is a beautiful fish. All right, let's get this one put back. Let's have some more of that frog bite. So I like to get that frog in each one of those pockets. And I work it through hop, 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 pause, hop, 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 pause. You bring that frog out, right as you get to the edge, you stop and let it sit. You want to keep your eye on the bank and the water about 15 to 20 feet from the edge and watch for disturbance. If you see a ripple, something that doesn't make sense, a lot of times that's a bass, and he'll have his nose down, getting a crawfish or eating a bluegill. And in especially the skinny water, a big bass is gonna make a little bit of waves. So keep your eye out for that. And a lot of times all you gotta do is drop this frog within his vicinity and he's gonna come out and eat it. Got him. Yes. Another good one. Look at that. Summer hasn't even set in yet, and they are pounding a frog. These fish are all post-spawn. The water is 75 degrees. We're here in the Midwest. This is a great example of a fine largemouth you can catch on a frog, but it's an often overlooked bait this time of year. You have a couple of options I want you to consider. We're gonna look at those right away here. Beautiful. So there are a lot of options out there for frogs. Personally, I just prefer a yellow and green pattern most of the time, almost all year round. So I got a couple options here today. I've got a Booyah Pad Crasher, a Booyah Pad Crasher Junior, and the different sizes are important to have on hand. The smaller one is gonna work ideally for a pressured lake where the bass are seeing a lot of fishing pressure, but also if you're fishing in areas that have really clear water where they're able to see well. You'll notice both of these frogs have bright bellies, just like a natural frog. But I've got two sizes here. Today we're going with a little bit bigger frog. These fish are pretty big, so they're not gonna shy away from that. It's important to get it in there and then work it through the weeds, and that's where the pointed nose on both of these baits comes in real handy, because it'll weave right through the grass, the duckweed, whatever kind of vegetation you're fishing, and it's not gonna get hung up. But it's also important, as soon as it hits open water, you want it to walk the dog a few times. That pointed nose will make that happen. These will get bit all year long. Got him. Yes. Good one. Oh, it's barely hooked. Oh, it's a good one. Look at this cabbage. I mean, that's what they're living in. Another fine post-spawn largemouth on a frog. I'll tell you what, sometimes it takes a bunch of repetitive casts, but they will eat. And if you see some commotion, like something in the water that just doesn't seem natural with the current, throw at it. A lot of times it's a bass. All right, let's get this one back and catch another. All right, this is a 7-foot medium heavy Abu Garcia Veritas. It's a pretty fast action rod, and I'm fishing pretty close to the bank, so I want a very reactive rod. This is the right setup. This is an Abu Garcia Revo SX in a 7-to-1 gear ratio. A faster gear ratio is important for this because as you're working that frog, that fish comes up and strikes the frog so hard a lot of times it knocks slack in your line. Having a fast reel is going to help you pick up that line and set the hook. Got him. Awesome, awesome. Spring bass on a frog. Get this frog out of there. Great time of year to catch bass on a frog. And don't hesitate to go back over, because we were hearing fish blowing up. You hear bluegills kissing on the surface back in the vegetation. That's a telling sign. If you want to find bass, you want them to eat frogs, use your ears. And a lot of times that's important when they eat the frog, because it's real easy to pull that bait away from them. So give them a count and then set the hook. This is one of the best ways to catch bass of all, and it's not too early in the year to get it done.
This segment brought to you by Smoker Craft. Best value on the water, from our family to yours.